Yay, yay, yay! We are back. So we have two more interviews to go. This next interviewee is one of my dear friends, really, dear friends online. We have been doing summits and doing events together for probably 10 years, maybe a little bit longer than 10 years now. And Denise she followed her heart, she followed her intuition, she stepped into coaching. She has created a very successful community, very successful business. What she coaches on is something that's near and dear to my heart, which is surviving narcissistic abuse and specifically divorce. So if you are, a lot of times, why I brought her on specifically, it's a lot of times when we're stepping into our heart, when we're stepping into our calling, when we're stepping into healing. We're stepping away from old toxic patterns. And as you heard from a lot of the people that we interviewed here before, what catapulted them into their heart's mission was a divorce. And does that always have to be the case? No. But is it often the case? Yes. So one, I wanted to share with you somebody that can walk you through your divorce in a way that will help you win. And somebody that I trust, that can hold you, that knows, that has gone through the trenches, that has a successful business, but also somebody that is an example of that. Now, she took her mess and that experience and she's turned it into a business. And we got divorced about the same time. We were stepping into our businesses about the same time. So 2013, 2014 is when we really met. And I've watched her, for lack of a better word, go from, working that 9 to 5 and raising the kids and kind of this like bubbly but closed person to being this grounded, open person that you're about to meet. And that transformation is why I keep teaming up with her, why I keep wanting her in my world and to be in her world. And so I'm super, super grateful for Denise. So please welcome Denise, whose last name I will not pronounce. But she can't. I call her Denise K. And I'm not going to change. I couldn't pronounce your other last name either, though. So you're muted really fast.
Yes. Yeah.
There you go.
I'm here. Thank you.
You're welcome. So one thing, that I've been introducing everybody from my point of view today, because I think
Beautiful.
I think it's important to really stand with and stand behind the people that I'm saying, hey, these are coaches. This is why you want to be a coach. This is why you want to be trauma informed. This is another way that you can coach. This is another way that you can help people. This is another way you can follow your heart into being of service. Not everyone wants to be a coach, right? Some people, Neri might help, or energy healing might help, or different things that I've highlighted here. But I wanted you on this particular summit because you really did. You took this experience that you had, which I'll let you explain, of course, and you turned it into a truly thriving business. And you've also, really formed a great relationship in this, and you have fun YouTubes, and you're so informative, and you give, and you're constantly just like reinventing the wheel as a speaker. So Denise is, if you haven't caught on yet, she is a narcissistic abuse recovery coach. She's a speaker. She's an internationally best-selling author. You can get her book there. She is a survivor and thriver. We were just talking about that, of narcissistic abuse. She is the founder of Life After Narcissism Foundation, a nonprofit and a resource for victims of emotional abuse that suffer, and she supports women in coaching. And she's really on a mission to enhance the lives of survivors of abuse utilizing the 4 pillars of healing to empower women to heal the trauma and awaken their true potential, thereby creating an extraordinary life after narcissism. And that's what we're talking about. And so that's why I had you on. That's why you're here. I love you. I respect you.
I love you.
I think everybody in the world should be following you. And let's just dive into, what was that experience for your words? What was that experience that propelled you from being in it to helping people through it?
It's actually a funny story because I never, ever thought that I would be doing what I'm doing, ever. It was really just escaping the abusive relationship and moving 3 states away, coming here to North Carolina from South Florida, leaving everything behind, and coming here with a futon couch and an air mattress and starting my life all over again in my 40s. So all of that, all of what comes with divorcing, starting all over, like literally from scratch. And I really wish I had no idea that I would be doing this. It was just one step at a time. So leaving, coming here, starting my life all over. I have a whole dating segment of all the crazy dating experiences that I had because I was the same wounded person that left that toxic relationship and went into the dating world. I was the same wounded person. So, i.e., I kept attracting the same types of men as my ex. So a pivotal moment was I went to go start my business, which was this gorgeous blonde showed up on Facebook and she's like, I can show you how to create a business in 7 days for free. And I was like, yeah, I'm in it. Let's do this. Yeah. And you get a free coaching call at the end. I was like, yeah. Literally had no idea that us type of coaches existed. Like at that point, I knew football coaches and basketball coaches. Like I didn't know there was coaches like us that existed. So long story short, I signed up for the free 7 days and then went into her program for a year and learned how to create an online audience. But I was still wounded. And so now I'm getting on calls with women and my business coach was like, yeah, get them into your program and do this. But I had no tools. I had nothing to give to these women.
Yeah.
So that's when I had to take a step back because I was referring them out. I had nothing to offer them and I could not take their money because there was no even exchange of what I could give them for even $90 a month. So I completely stopped my business then, went into me and healing my wounds. And then I started to have, okay, now I have tools that I can give to women. Now I'm coming from a different place. Now I'm healed or healing because I believe we're always healing. There's never I'm healed. And I had tools to give to them. And it just spiraled from there. Yeah, I have evolved so much. That feels like a lifetime ago as well. Evolved so much since that time.
Yeah. And you attracted a different kind of man.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely.
Which I love. Yeah. That's a beautiful story in itself. A story for maybe another day, another summit. We'll do a trauma summit and eventually I'll do one. You could tell that story because it's so beautiful. And so your expertise is in narcissism, which is a mental disorder, right? And so obviously helping women deal with that, mainly women. I know that you work with some men too, if I remember seeing that. Yeah. And there's not only men narcissist women, there's women too. And a lot of times I just want to put in here what I found is like narcissism and borderline are on a spectrum. So borderline is the emotional equivalent to narcissism as the mental equivalent is too, right? So it's really on which way. So if you were married to a borderline person, this is for you men out there if you're listening, and they were there, you might need the same healing, that somebody that was married to a narcissist would need. And I just want to point that out as a recovering, never diagnosed, but definitely attuned to the CPTSD, which also can look a lot like either of those, right?
Yep.
And so no matter what, if you were dealing with this tumultuous person, this abusive person, this degrading person, this you can't do enough person, this changing their tune person, this gaslighting person, this not taking responsibility person, this over-exaggerated person on either end of the spectrum, internally or externally, no matter which way you were looking at, that's who Denise works with. If you're divorcing that person, then it can be crazy in there. So, so you were learning how to do this. Who else do you work with? Like, just explain kind of like, who do you like to coach, and what makes coaching, because it's so close, like you're coaching with people that are surviving narcissistic abuse, so they probably have some stuff, but you're coaching them not in therapy. And there are two different worlds. I'm in both worlds. I walk both worlds, but I had to go to a lot of school to walk in the therapy world. And like I was just talking about, like I'm still on the journey to the licensure and all of that stuff. But there's not much school that you have to go to be a coach. And yet we work with these deeper emotional states coming out of it. So will you explain that a little bit? Because you do it so beautifully. I mean, I've talked to many people that have worked with you and been following you for years. So I'm just going to stand on a rock up here on my mountaintop and say, Denise does this beautifully.
So my ideal client is a woman between 35 and 45 who is thinking about divorce, but she hasn't quite done it yet. And she knows, she's a smart woman, right? Like she knows it's going to be, let's just say, challenging to do this, because she knows her husband. She knows he's a high conflict, he's argumentative, like she knows. So she knows that she needs, along with a great attorney, she knows that she needs this emotional support so that she's not triggered, she's not walking in vulnerable, she's not walking in raw and easily triggered. And so that she gets this support so that she can get what she needs, because most of them have children, or at best, they walked into this marriage, because I coach older women too. They walked into this relationship and this marriage with, maybe they put in the house that they live in was her house before, and she just wants to walk away with her house. Or she put in, upfront $300,000 into the relationship, and she wants her money back at minimum. So my ideal client is thinking about divorce. She knows she needs the emotional support, which in my view, everybody does. Everybody needs emotional support, because there's two sides to divorce. There's the business side and there's the emotional side. And when you get the emotional side taken care of first, then go into the business side, you're golden. You're golden. And this is the results that my clients get when they get the emotional support. So that's my ideal client. But I have coached clients. I've had women who come to me with adult children who are narcissistic, and they want to have a relationship with their child, but it's challenging, it's struggling, and all the things. So I've had clients like that. I've had clients, anything around the realm of the narcissist in their life. So maybe their parent is a narcissist, or like I said, adult child, or they've been divorced, they're in a new relationship, they're in a great relationship. That's my most recent client, a male client, and his ex-wife keeps pulling him back to court and suing him for ridiculous things. And what really pisses me off the most, Lisha, is that the courts put up with this crap. Like, they allow this crap to happen. Their youngest child is almost 30. He's been in a new relationship for 11 years. Why is the courts even entertaining this bull crap, So I coach anybody who's dealing with a narcissist that needs to get rid of, in a good way, get rid of the narcissist in their life so they could be free from their toxic ties.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. So what sets a coach apart when working with this? Like, what is that emotional component that coaches do that many therapists don't? It's why I want to get the DSM-5 changed. It's why I want to get this recognized. Like, because it's not all mental, you guys. It's not all mental, and we have a nervous system, and it doesn't work when you just do that one fundamental part in your brain. But that's a whole different thing. But what's like the of being a coach and working with the emotions?
So the ma is when they shift so quick, when their energy shifts so quick and they're getting results so quick. Like the client I was just telling you about, he had his first court just yesterday or the day before. And he Voxered me saying, giving me the good news. We've only been working together for 3 weeks. And so literally he's turned already around this 11 years of being served by the sheriff and trying to move on with his new life. And the past keeps showing up, dragging him back. So that's the, but the difference between,
because a lot of people go to therapy, right? They're like, but I've been in therapy forever. Like we went to marriage counseling. I've been in therapy. I'm in therapy. I'm like, what sets me apart is I'm going to marry these two worlds, right? Like why you hire a coach and not just go to therapy when you're going through a divorce is because a coach is going to do the transformational work. The coach is going to ask you questions like the
results were results motivated. Yes. Where a therapist is more of like almost to me like a maintenance versus results.
I think that's beautifully said. Yeah, that is beautifully said. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So when my clients come to me,
perfect.
Right. When my clients come to me, I say, what do you want? Because when the reason why I ask them that question is because that's the target. That's where we're going to go at the end of our time together, whether that's 6 months, 4 months, or if they're in my group. That's what I need to know. What do you want? In a perfect world, if you could have anything you want, what do you want? Most don't even know. But when they do tell me what they want, okay, great. What else do you want? Because I'm going to show you how to live that. That's why my business name is Life After Narcissism. I'm going to show you how to create your life after all of the crap so that you're on the polar opposite of what you've experienced in life. Even if your entire life, all you've had is crappy relationships and all of this toxicity in your world, doesn't matter. You're still going to be shown how to create your life after narcissism.
I love that. I love that. So I'm going to shift it just a little bit back to you because I think even your clients need to hear you have a different kind of interview.
Okay, let's do it.
I love talking about them, but I want to talk about you. So as you went through that coaching training, right? You realized, oh, wait a minute, I need to take a step back and get some tools and get everything before I work with my community. I love your integrity there. I love your honesty there. Thank you for that, because I think it's important for us to do that. What was some of the biggest obstacles in your way, besides needing to, let's start like after you started again, right? So obviously the big obstacle is like your own healing, right? Like let's look at that and getting on track with yourself. But once you started coaching again in this arena, from your mess to this thriving success, like what were some of the biggest obstacles that made you go, because I remember when you were like, oh, I quit my job, like I don't have to work at my job anymore, I quit my job, right? Like there was like, oh, like I did it, right? Like I remember that moment and how excited I remember standing at the bottom of my stairs and just like jumping up and down with you in that moment. And it still brings tears in my eyes. It was, I think, before you met your husband, because I don't remember him in the picture. But it was such a big deal because you tried to do it all. I mean, we all did, right? We did. It's not, starting a coaching business isn't like, oh, now I have I mean, yes, there's those stories, and yes, they talk about it, but no, it's a heart calling. It's a push. So what kept you going, working your 9 to 5 and working on yourself, working on, like, what was that process? You get my question? You kind of get where?
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. I'll shut up.
The process was that, yeah, I was working full-time medical sales and my business at the same time. This was very early on, way back in 2016. My husband and I were together, but we weren't married at that time.
Okay.
And I had enough coaching on me as me being the client to know that when they came to me, when my full-time job, that I was there for a couple years and I had built up their accounts, my accounts were hospitals, big hospitals. And they came to me and they were like, okay, Denise, here's the new contract. And you're going to basically work more and get paid less. And I had done enough coaching on me to know by that point, like if I sign that contract, I'm telling the universe that I am willing to do this. I'm willing to work more and get paid less. So I was like, absolutely not. I'm not signing this contract. We can negotiate, but I'm not signing this contract. And this is like, I want to say I had balls, but really it was just my level of consciousness and my confidence in myself to know, like, if I sign that energetically, I'm selling my soul, right? So I'll negotiate this, but I'm not signing this. And they said, nope, no negotiation. It is what it is. You sign it or you're fired. And I said, well, then I'm just going to take that chance. And I had no plan B, none.
Wow.
So I remember I came home that day and I told my husband, and he was like, that's fine, babe. You work your business and I'll take care of the bills. And I was like, what? Really? Okay. So then I dove into my business full time, worked my business full time. And that's like what the process was. And so had released the obligation to be somewhere, because it was like almost an hour drive, 8 hours, an hour drive back home, traffic. I had a podcast in. Oh yeah, I had the podcast with you on that platform. And
What
I
was
would
that?
rush home. What was the podcast it was my own podcast, but it was on your platform.
It was on your own university. It was when your own university was doing that. And
yes.
we used another platform. I teamed up with a person that had a podcast platform, and then they put it out. It's kind of like Spotify now, but they were much smaller.
Yeah.
And it didn't exist, right? Yeah. So yeah, you had your podcast.
So I'd rush home to get on the podcast by 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, from the traffic and stuff. And it was just super stressful. So I'm not recommending this for anybody because we all have our own journeys. But this was my journey. And so that enabled me to focus on my business only, focus on collabing, focus on growing and myself. So the healing didn't stop after the 18 months that I dove just into me. It continued, still continues to this day. I still have coaches that help me in my evolution to be the best version of me, because there's always something more that we can evolve into.
We're just mooring and mooring, right? I think that's life. So what I'm hearing is the first was dive into you. That was an obstacle. The second was time, right? And we were talking yesterday to Emily, and she was like, you need that money platform. So it can come from a relationship. It can come from Airbnb or rentals. It can come from a job. One of my coaches now, she always says, like, the best business loan is your full-time job, right? Your best business loan is your full-time job. And so just doing that. I know I did that for years. I worked 5 different things. I substitute taught. I did construction, or not construction, but landscaping. Like, I did a whole bunch of different things, bookkeeping for different people, receptionist people, right? Went to school at the same time, did my coaching business. Like, it was like all of this stuff just to keep it going. And I think painting out that reality is good. But eventually you got to the point where it was like, okay, now you're doing it. What was the biggest obstacle or thing that stood once you started going? Like, once it was like, oh, I'm paying the bills, it's paying for itself, you could solely focus on it. Like, you had that success when that began for you. And what happened?
This is a great question. So when I hired my business coach and got into the coaching world, the business coach that I had was more of like, here's how you create an online audience. I didn't have a business coach that was like, okay, you need to register your business, you need to, do like all the legal, put a
Mm-hmm.
name to it, all those steps. So for the longest time, I didn't have a business. My business
Okay.
was me. So when I was taking credit cards from my clients, it was going directly into my personal bank account. And so
Mm.
what really shifted everything for me was when I registered my business as an LLC. Then my
Mm-hmm.
business was like, oh, I'm separate from you energetically. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
and then that's when I started to get consistency and clients, and the
Mm.
movement was starting to happen. And then
Mm.
I had the LLC, and now I just literally yesterday I got the last piece of paper from my 501c3. So now I'm a 501c3. Yeah, I'm so excited about that. I know.
Just keep
Yeah,
it
that's what
going.
really
Yeah.
shifted it.
Yeah. That's beautiful. Yeah, I got my 501c3 in 2014, and it was and I, I'm still like, okay, what am I doing with this? Like, I did stuff then, and then I had another trauma that sent me, and then I went that into my PhD, and I'm just sitting with it, and I have all these entities. I'm like, but I love that you said that, because separating that identity shift from your business, right, was big. I remember 2018, I pretty much did the same thing, not in legal sense, like that was all taken care of, but like literally, like
Yeah,
separating from that and beginning to pray for your business and put intention into your business and let your
yeah,
business be an entity, like an
yes,
energetic entity person kind of. It's called an entity
right,
for a reason, right?
right.
And look at it. I've even done some marketing with some people that were like, well, look at your business like a person. If your business had that, and they separated my businesses out, right? You're like, okay, you have 3 children. And I was like, oh, okay, right? And what does the children have? And you can't put, you know, all in my therapy and coaching, my personal business, and with your own university, and with Divinely You, my nonprofit for survivors.
Right.
Like they have to be separate, because I was trying to like living in enmeshment, right?
Yeah,
So we pulled them all apart, and now they each have their role, and that's helped. But like, you were a part of your own university from the beginning, and I just shut it down one day. I was like, okay, and that's because I had to focus on building my platform
right.
first,
Yeah.
even though a lot of
Mm,
my work is at your own university, like the certification programs. So I love that you said that. I think that's important. And please do, guys, like
it is.
when you go into coaching, you are forming a business. So do those legal things. And a lot of coaching programs and business programs don't even talk about that. So it's super, super
Yeah.
important.
Yeah. It
So,
changed everything.
yeah. Would you say that would be like the biggest obstacle that your business has gone through, or has there been an evolution since then? And getting your message to the people that and helping the people, like what has been, I guess, what's been your golden ticket? If you had a golden ticket, let's celebrate a little bit.
So yeah, evolution for sure, because from no business really, because you don't have a business if you don't have it separated. And
Yeah.
like what you were just saying with the kids, I see it similar. Like when you're in a relationship with your partner, your partner is separate from you. Yes, you're together. Yes, you're a couple and you're growing together, but you also have your own likes, your own this, and so does he or she. And there's the separation, the space, and togetherness. So that's how I view it now. Um, I think that was the hugest thing that really catapulted my business into the next level. Yeah. What was the question?
It's beautiful. Um, so when finding the people that you work with, right? You've
Mm,
and maybe it's how you started, right? With learning how to build a community first. Um,
yeah.
and this is something that you've done just beautifully. I think it's partly just because you're so welcoming and lovely and easy to talk to, but maybe that's just my personal experience. But what is that golden ticket? Like, how how have you been able to let your business reach the people that it was meant to reach? And
so great. She said, when you look at Nike, the business Nike, what do you think of? Automatically we go to sneaker, Nike, sneaker. But Nike sells sneakers and hats and socks and clothes. Like, they've branched out, they've expanded out.
yeah,
But when I just said, what do you think of when you think of Nike, your brain went to sneaker. So to focus in on that niche of who you talk to and what you talk about, I think is the biggest thing, so that people know you for that thing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And it can be, like you said, it can be multifaceted, right? But it's like one thing when it comes to building community and that trust level. I think with coaching, there's a trust level that has to happen, especially when narcissist or abuse, and we're in our topic, right? Like, we have to do a lot more, I think, legwork, or at least I feel like I do, and maybe it's my own story, to build trust and videos and posts and stuff like that, to form that relationship before the relationship with my private clients. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love that. And doing this shift into more teaching and programming and certifications is a big deal to me. But I knew that if I just work with trauma survivors all day long, I was getting burnout. My adrenals were starting to feel it again. It's very taxing, listen to rape stories all the time. I love it. I'm built for it. But at the same time, like, if I'm going to keep doing it, I have to branch out. I have to have other wheels, and these are the wheels already built, right? I've already built the certification. So it's like, okay, we're going to do this, because my community has been very focused for all those years on just trauma survivors. So I love that. So in this realm, like, if somebody was to start off turning their mess into a success, like turning it into a coaching business, what piece of advice would you have for them?
Heal yourself first. Do the work on you first, so that you have, number one, so that you're coming from and when I say this, it's not like I'm better than anybody or you're better than anybody, but you're coming to them as the teacher. You have a higher level of consciousness. You've done the healing work on you, so that you can talk to your client and say, hey, I've been there. I know what you're going through. And this is what helped me. And here's the tools that helped me, so that you can provide to them, just like a teacher-student type of a relationship. The teacher has to go through school. That's why the teacher is able to stand at the front of the class with all of the students and provide the information, the tools, the techniques for the students to learn how to be more like you, the teacher. That's what I would say.
Yeah.
Heal.
I love it. Yeah, it's perfect. So say that somebody is coming from their mess, and they're walking through that, and they're listening to that. No matter, you heard she works with everybody, guys. So, but you feel like, how did they get in touch with you?
Oh, my website is trueloveaftertoxiclove.com. And that's just the easiest way, because all the social media and the email information is all right there. So they could go there, and that's the easiest way for them to get in touch with me.
trueloveaftertoxiclove.com, you guys. All spelled out, all one word.
Yep.
So you know. She's also all over Facebook, TikTok, Insta. She puts on fantastic events. You guys definitely go to her events and just learn and thrive. I love how you show up. So we really have, like, just some buffer time for anybody that is on YouTube. If you want to write any questions, if you're listening live, go ahead and do that. If you're back here in Zoom, go ahead and do that, and then we'll have a little Zoom time alone for our back street people. And then we'll move on to our last talk of the day. Oh my gosh. TikTok, or not TikTok, YouTube does a little buffering, so we have to wait so they can hear what I just
Okay.
said.
Okay.
So in the meantime, what would you like to share? What's on your heart? Where are you now? What's next?
Well, now that my 501c3 papers came in, it's time for grant writing and fundraising. And I was called to do a 501c3. This was not my idea. This was up above that said, talk to the people in the relationship and turn it into a 501c3. Not all at once. That came a couple months apart, but I just feel like it's going to open so many doors to help so many people, because I'm going to run my 501c3 different than anybody of nonprofits, because here's my opinion, only my opinion, especially with domestic violence and nonprofits, it's a system, and it's a system that creates a reoccurring coming back, where I'm going to show my clients and whoever comes to me, even if they just listen to my videos, I'm going to show them how to stop this cycle of abuse once and for all. I don't want a reoccurring.
Amen.
I don't want a cycle. Yeah. I don't want you to come back to me. One and done, babe. I want you to come to me.
My
I'm gonna show you the tools
hashtag is
and you move on.
end the cycle of abuse. My hashtag, end the cycle of abuse. Every friggin' post, or almost every post I post. It's like, that's the ticket. I can't wait. So what's your nonprofit called? And who's it for?
Life After. Okay. So the name is Life After Narcissism Foundation. Okay. And it's for anyone, really anyone who's dealing with a narcissist, who's like, I'm finished, I'm done, I don't want to deal with this anymore. I'm tired of the trauma and the drama and the this and the that. And whether it's a parent, a spouse, soon to be spouse, an adult child, anybody, even I've had people who had bosses, co-workers, they keep cycling in that way, that they are welcome to contact me, and I'm more than happy to help them.
Yay! Yay! I absolutely love it. I absolutely love
Kelly.
it. Yeah. And Kelly says, congratulations on your 501c3. I love it.
Yeah.
All right.
What a journey that was.
I know. It's beautiful, isn't it? So YouTube, thank you. Once again, we'll be back in about 15 minutes. Oh, no, about 20 minutes. And have our final interview of this summit. I hope that you've loved it. Please watch all the replays. You have 72 hours to watch them, to digest them, and then they'll be taken down. If you signed up for it, if you've registered for it, you are going to be getting the replays right after they're taken down there. So you'll get them dripped, contacted out to you, because obviously you guys have been busy this I'm in my green this St. Patrick's Day weekend. And if you want to keep the videos forever, you obviously can have them. Join our VIP group, and you'll also get a free ticket to Rediscovering Me, where we do some of that inner work for you. Well, we do a lot of it, actually. We're going to integrate, we're going to re-embody your soul, you're going to activate all of your systems, those core personality traits of you, and we're going to dive into relationships and forming your business. You're going to get it all in 3 days, April 5th, 6th, and 7th. Please come and join me. And you get a free ticket to that when you are VIP from this event. So that is my gift. You can also buy it. It's $222, no problem. If you want to pay me, I will take the money. I'll take the more money. That's all right. I will receive. It'll be worth it no matter what, and you'll get more than you bargained for. Denise, thank you so much for everything that you do. Continuously. Thank you for your tenacity of sticking to it, being a shining example, continuously building your community, and being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Always.
All right. Mwah.